who is coming into the room here as we get this webinar started. Really excited for this topic today. All right. Hey, Yaroslava. And as we trickle in, if you can just drop your city, where you're dialing in from. Would love to see our global community and get to know where you're coming from. Nashville. Hi, Michelle. Very cool. Kevin from Phoenix. Welcome. Andrew, Warwick. Pedro from New York. Raman in India. Very cool. Jennifer in Arlington, Virginia. Ruth from Lisbon. Wonderful. It's always great to see the global community that we have here today. I'm excited to kick off this webinar. This is a very special webinar where we're going to be doing a live demo with our partners at GP Strategies, where we're going to be demonstrating how you can transform knowledge into engaging videos in just minutes with AI. And so just a quick agenda. We're going to go through some introductions. We're going to cover why you need knowledge bases and output agents, what those things are. We're going to go into our live demo, and we're going to have time for questions at the end. So thank you so much for joining us. And if you can, give us a follow on LinkedIn so that we can continue the conversation. That would be awesome. We'd love to get to know other colleagues in the community. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic. I'm Marlon Fuentes, AI evangelist at Colossian. And Jeff, if you can introduce yourself, and Dominic.
Absolutely. That's a great title. AI evangelist. That sounds kind of fun.
It's fun, right?
I know. I'm having some envy of your title. So I have the very boring title. Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff, Vice President of Technology at GP Strategies. And over the last couple of years, that's been all about AI and helping people kind of navigate the hype cycles around generative AI and getting to those productivity kind of use cases. So I'm excited to talk with everyone today and share some of this really exciting kind of partnership and integration that we've built with the Colossian team.
Awesome. Dominic.
I must say, Jeff, that you have the most exciting title in my eyes. Like, as a technologist myself, like I wish my title was as exciting. But it's great to see everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Dominic. I'm the CEO and founder of Colossian. I founded the company 4 years ago now with a mission to make knowledge transfer easy. I have a background in technology, and overall, I wanted to ensure that we can create the best solution, the most innovative solution for workplace learning, an AI video platform that can basically transform knowledge. And today it's a very relevant topic as we are going to talk about this collaboration with Jeff's team, and I think it's all about the mission that we want to fulfill. Overall, like, we've been working with L&D teams and other teams of large corporations to like help them save time and costs via our AI video solution. I was fortunate to basically like see our company becoming one of the fastest growing in the space and having great colleagues here to help out. So it's going to be a great discussion, and already I appreciate the chance for this partnership from the GP Strategies team.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
It's yes, the technology thing is fun. I sometimes refer to myself as a failed developer. I have a degree in that, and I started developing, but I quickly realized there were way smarter and better people than me to do that. So now I get to play the dangerously technical role of talking about this and helping lead the teams in the space. So
Fantastic.
It's a lot of fun. I think on the next slide, we have a little bit of info on who GP Strategies are, because if you haven't heard of GP Strategies, we're a global organization, over 5,000 employees globally, that do marketing will laugh at me when I say this, learning things, all things in the learning and transformation space, from bringing IP and content to managed learning services to design and development, consulting, technology, technical training. All of these sort of things kind of come together to help organizations transform. And AI applies into all of these kind of things. So this is why we kind of set out to build a product ourselves to kind of help touch all of these kind of angles. And we're excited to work with the Colossian team on the video publishing side of it. You guys do have a very spectacular piece of technology, in our opinion. Awesome. So people, we kind of tease this idea of what are knowledge bases and output agents. You've probably heard, if you've been anywhere in the AI space, you've heard the word agent a bunch of times. It's the year of the agents that we're in right now. Everyone's talking about agents doing everything. And I'll define what we're talking about in this case as we kind of play with this. But one of the things we realized, and I'm sure you realized this too, is that your organization's knowledge is one of its most valuable assets. And a lot of that information is locked up within your existing learning content and documents that you already have in your LMSs, in your systems that are out there. And it's very unstructured. In a lot of cases, it's not vetted. And one things we see quite often is you even have contradictory information that's out there. So you have courses that say things that maybe they that contradict themselves, and that's sort of fun. And one thing we also realize this with AI is AI doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know if that's what's right or wrong. So when you start to feed it piles and piles of information, and Marlon, jump in here too. Like, I think this is like a common misconception of point AI at technical term, big pile of words, and let it do magic. You're going to find that you don't have the reliability in the output of what's kind of coming into. So having kind of high quality organized data is key to having reliable outputs when you start to use generative AI tools. And
Absolutely.
I imagine you've seen similar things as well.
Definitely.
And when we talk about output agents, in this case, we're talking about how do we kind of scale outputs? How do you like start to create things at scale? And one of the kind of theories we have is that most people, as much as we all think we're going to be good at prompting, probably aren't going to become prompt ninjas and experts at how to craft really detailed prompts and have that expertise in it. Which means once you get past the party trick of watching AI write words and you read the words, you might be like, oh, that's kind of generic. That's sort of boring content. So how do you get past that? Because AI has the power to create really engaging content, but you've got to help it. You got to kind of get it along those ways. And that's where we've kind of played with this idea of creating output agents that build in that expertise. So when I say write a video script, we embed decades of GP's expertise into that of how to write a good video script, so that people don't have to kind of do that on their own. Anything else you want to?
I think you nailed the point.
Yeah.
I think you nailed the point there, Jeff. Like, even after the last 2 years, I still don't know how to write proper prompts, and I keep talking to our customers about it. Like, it's still like a skill to learn and hard to like master, at least in my view. And even when I ask like a large language model to like come up with a video script, it always comes up with this very generic one that you have to fine tune it, and it takes time. So I believe what you build there is quite valuable for ensuring that it's top quality, not just fast.
Yeah. So,
not to mention the value of video in learning experience. I think it's one of the great trends that we're seeing now is a more dynamic, engaging, personalized content. So I think this is the right time.
Absolutely. So how does this work? And then I promise this is the last slide. We're going to do live demos because we teased the live demo and we can't spend all our time on slides. But I thought it made sense to kind of lay this out here. So the first part of the process is you're using AI and actually multiple agents at multiple places here to kind of do things. The first part is deconstructing and kind of breaking your core content down to its atomic parts. Like, what are the topics that are covered inside of that? A fun fact here is if you try to create, like, if you load learning content into a large language model and say, help me create new things, if that learning content has assessments in it, for example, by design, you have lots of wrong information in that. AI doesn't know that those distractors are wrong information. So you have a good chance of building stuff based off of wrong information if you don't remove or categorize that information properly. So you have to use some sort of AI at the front end to normalize and clean that data. So you have a kind of an understanding of it. And then you could store that in a knowledge base or knowledge bases. Sometimes at a technical level, people talk about these as like vectorized databases and stuff like that, but it doesn't really matter in the scheme of it. It's a secure knowledge base, a place where you can see, vet, and make sure that knowledge is right. And then based on that knowledge, I want to use AI to help me generate video scripts, assessments, podcasts, other things out of it, and use kind of that agentic framework to kind of help do that. So that's sort of the flow I'll walk through today at a high level. I don't see any questions that have come in yet, have we, Marlon? Are we good?
No questions yet, but definitely save those questions. Feel free to drop them into the chat, and we will get to those after the demo. So take it away, Jeff.
All right, let me go ahead and I'm gonna steal the sharing from you all here, and you tell me if hopefully the technology is off to a good start here, and you can see the least compelling user interface of a product ever. But it's
Looks
the core
excellent.
thing. All right, we're
Yes.
here. So at the core of what we're kind of showing you with the AIQ product here in the Colossian integration is it starts with loading in that existing content, whether that's e-learning files, PDFs, videos, all of that sort of stuff. And in essence, what we're doing is we're chunking that all up. So we're not going to read through this, but this is kind of deconstructed e-learning file into, I'll say, an AI friendlier way of being able to parse that. You can do a lot of things with this now. You can ask questions about it. You can tag it to skills. And we're not going to go into that today because we're going to talk about, okay, I actually have a bunch of content now. And a lot of the AI tools that are out there let you upload a PDF or a single sort of thing to work off of. But what if that information exists in lots of different content that's there? How do I start to normalize and structure that? And that's where our knowledge base kind of layer comes in. So we'll play with this concept of authentic leadership, which is one of the concepts that the GP kind of teaches in its leadership content. And in this case, we use AI to look across all the content and say, hey, what are the core topics that are covered there? And then if I drill into it, here's all the structured content that is there. And we even give you the ability to come in, review, edit, and correct this. So these cases where like technical data might be really relevant and it might have messed up or grabbed the wrong information, you can start to correct and vet that information to make sure that it's the right stuff to build off of. This is a very much, you saw the title, like human plus AI. This is a deliberate human moment. Like, please, like review this stuff, make sure it's right, because that's going to allow you to scale the outputs at the end and kind of where you go from there. So we're happy with this. We have the ability to ask it questions like, tell me more about the benefits of and you can ask questions about it, get answers, all of that sort of stuff. And this serves a couple purposes. One, to get access to that information, but the second also is to make sure it's right. So you can use chat or kind of a RAG-like chat experience to validate that knowledge. Because when you ask it questions and you see the answers and you agree with those answers, you're like, okay, great, it's good. I can move on from that kind of experience. So say I'm happy with this authentic leadership content. Then in our product, we have a concept called workspaces, where it's where you start to create outputs. And I won't spend a ton of time there, but this idea here is I create this workspace on authentic leadership. And I say, hey, I want this only to work off of the knowledge in this knowledge base and the information from these files that I've loaded in. So everything I do in here, chat, all of that is all going to be kind of ring fenced to just that knowledge and information. And then I have the ability to start to create these new outputs. So let's say I want to create a video script. So new starter video, I'll call it, and I'll kind of create that. And then we get into this experience here where we're kind of chatting with the piece of content. And this is where GP's built in some of its expertise. As opposed to just going off and running and writing a video script in this moment, it's actually going to ask me some sound instructional questions of how to create a good video. Is it a dialogue? Do we have multiple participants? What's the audience? You'll see some of these sort of things here. I'll give it an answer so it can kind of go off and start to do that. And then it'll use that information and a bunch of expertise to start to create that. And I'll show you a little behind the scenes here of what's happening as it's generating. I'll switch over. So the prompt that's actually being used is this one here, where we're giving it role, audience, task, speaker notes, specific tasks, source material, guidelines, writing styles, like all of this sort of stuff is being sent in the background. So this is kind of my point of, you're probably not going to be prompt experts writing those level of prompts that are there. And that's what our team is doing. We're taking our instructional design expertise, embedding it into those agents so that you write a simple thing like this, and then you get a compelling video script where two people are talking. And I can then say, hey, can you break this into 4 scenes? Please. And it will go off, and I can start to iterate with this. It's kind of like the chat with, if you've started to play with like canvases or pages in the tools that are out there, a similar type of experience. Again, but this with kind of the learning expertise built right in. So again, you see really quickly, we have our videos, multiple scenes. It's still kind of generating as it goes. So again, a really quick and easy way to start to iterate on this content. Now I'm going to do a little bit of, I'll call myself out here, of movie magic or demo magic here, because I'm on this instance where I had all this leadership content. I wasn't able to get it connected to Colossian in time for this live demo, but I do have another instance where this is connected. And I'm going to switch over to it. So, and I'm going to create a video on TypeScript. So you'll see in this case, I have a knowledge base on TypeScript. I have a workspace where I'm talking about TypeScripts, and I've done 2 things here. The first is I've created this video script. So I've asked it to kind of create me a 2-minute video, and you'll see that it's broken down. And here is this video script with 4 scenes that are there. And in this case, I have the export feature where I can send this off to Colossian. What this is doing is hitting the Colossian APIs with all the optimized information that we've worked together to make sure that's there. And fingers crossed this is going to work. It's going to send all that there so that it can generate a draft of that video script with all the content and expertise we kind of embedded in here. And as it kind of works here, there it is. I can click over to Colossian now, and it's going to open up that draft for me.
Amazing.
And I love when technology works, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, such a clean workflow.
Yeah. As a former video producer, folks, I can tell you this is just sorcery, because this takes quite a long time to get to this point.
And so now I have my video with the script, 4 scenes already built in. And there's still some human moments. I got to tweak some things, move stuff around. Like it's not a perfect experience. Again, this is why we said it's human plus AI. But as you mentioned, the accelerator here is pretty magical to me. I used to be in the video production world as well, and like this was a lot of work to do before to get this far along. But then let's say we want to go kind of a step farther. And in Colossian, I think one of the really cool features is you can start to add interactive elements as well. So let's say I want to create an assessment to put on this side of the thing, and I'll just resize this now. In this moment, I have kind of my interaction of not that one. I'm just going to click into it. So here I have like, okay, I got to create this question. This is another advantage of where you can start to use AI in this assessment area. So if you noticed, I went ahead, because we only have a short amount of time today, and I actually created an assessment on using AIQ on TypeScript. So I said, hey, this audience is for new starters. This is where it's getting started. And I had it write some questions for me. And this is a thing I'll say test to a lot of people. The assessments that generic AI tools create without good prompting are pretty bad. It's really not good at lying. Its distractors are not good. Like it took us a good amount of tuning to get it. But let's say, okay, I want to kind of get this in here, and this is going to be my really manual process. We got to add this to the integration, Dominic. But I really want one click button where I can click and send that.
We must.
As well.
Like that would be a superior experience in my view as well.
You're like, please don't copy and paste this. But still, anyone that's ever ever created an assessment knows that creating assessments takes time. It's a very tedious process coming up with good answers, good distractors, feedback, all of those sort of things. So, but in a matter of, I'll say a couple of minutes, I'll take the feedback sort of things that are here, and I'll paste that in, and I'll paste one more in for you can see it. We have this created, and now I have a video with an interactive assessment with feedback that I could click play and publish on in this moment, that has a vetted script of content that we know is creating a higher quality video experience. So
I love.
Yeah, go
um,
ahead.
to clarify, Jeff, I love the point. I love the fact that it's on point. The script is condensed. It carries all the information that you had in the materials, and it's like not just like AI scripted like long text, which either no one reads or no one listens to. So I love the fact that you managed to condense the information that was in the materials so well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just saying, just seeing that script pop up and the level of detail. I mean, usually you have to have some background and to be able to write that with timestamps and all of that. And this is just kind of democratizing that process for any learning designer or leader out there. So very cool.
And then, of course, take this, and you guys have the feature to add any variant you want, any language you want to see here. What should I click on?
Ooh.
For Spanish, how about Spanish?
Sí, español.
Okay, yeah, that was the one that's there. So
Very cool.
again, with one click, I'm creating that variant where not only is the script, but all the content, the assessment, everything like that is translated in this variant. And now we can publish a Spanish version of the video we just created. So again, this starts to give me those goosebumps as well of like how quickly we can start to get content out there and how accessible we can make content now.
Yeah.
Before, video was like such an expensive thing and it was only used for like high profile type things or things that had high amounts of relevance or a long shelf life. And now the fact that I can get something out so quickly, this might only be relevant for a month or two, but it's super exciting that it's accessible now and much more accessible than what it ever was before.
Absolutely. Yeah. If we look at what's, coming out of the World Economic Forum right now, more employees, in the enterprises that were surveyed are completing e-learning courses. There is, quite a shift happening now. And I think, this workflow really kind of enables leaders to distribute more personalized content, to meet learners where they are and in any language. So this is really exciting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also think that. Please, Jeff.
No, continue. I just see some questions coming in, but I'll go ahead. You go first.
Yeah. I believe, like, in addition to that, like, what's really could be even a superior experience here is with the branching capability, like choose adventure type of experience, increasing the engagement of the video further. As we are going to work on this further, like enabling like also different and more complex branches, because creating those manually takes such a long time. Like having like different paths and this content is complex. So basically also having settings around like how complex the video should be. If it's like, should go into really lower level details, then of course we need a longer video, but how can we make the longer video engaging? And that's where the interactivity comes in, at least in my eyes. So basically fine tuning these like settings and maximizing the consumption of the material is there's such a possibility there, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and we should do that in our tool too. Like, it turns out GP's built lots of branching scenarios over the decades that we've been in business. I imagine we have some very opinionated instructional designers and consultants on our team of how to do that well. And I think that would be great to build that in. So when I'm chatting with that script, I can say, hey, make a branching scenario in here and let AI help create that. So when I click that button and send it to Colossian, it sends over that whole branching scenario as well, as opposed to just the script and the visual cues. So I think we're only scratching the surface on what we can do here.
Exactly.
I'm very excited about the potential.
Definitely.
And also the possibility of scenario-based learning here, because it could be used for assessment too. So imagine the quiz besides like something that we already support today, where multiple avatars talk to one another. That just has a more superior experience as well, because it just showcases a scene, showcases like a real life setting. We recently released some of these scenario avatars in different environments where they can talk to one another, and that just creates like an atmosphere realism instead of this PowerPoint style floating avatar, floating person. You can also have them in certain environments. So if it's a TypeScript example, maybe in an office full of computers doing programming.
Yeah.
That would be quite interesting in my view as well.
Yeah. Not to mention, you can create your own instant avatar, which is one of my favorite things to do, because it's really fun to create your own personas in these, and of course senior leaders will love this. We have a couple of questions here.
Yep.
Michelle asks, is the translation portion part of GP or Colossian or browser based?
Not browser based. So what I just demoed here is in Colossian, using the Colossian tech to do the translation. But you can also ask AIQ, the GP product, to generate in those different languages as well. And I think there's a fun nuance that I encourage people to play with here. That is, the difference in asking AI to generate something new versus asking it to do a string for string translation. And there's pros and cons to both. And there's times where you should use one versus the other. Like, I think in compliance world, you want string for string translation. You want to be very confident that what you said here is the same thing said here. But if I'm naturally writing something in Portuguese, maybe I just wanted to write the script originally in Portuguese, and I should have it do that. So I think it really depends. And in this case, you can actually do the translation in either of those products, or the language part of it.
Absolutely. Another question here. When you make edits to the data in the first step, are you changing it globally or just on your workspace?
Yeah, the edits, you're changing it just in the knowledge base. So you're not editing the source files, you're editing, say, all the derivative art, everything that's built downstream from that. And we've built some workflows that we didn't have time to demo, like if you update that content. Because it's all created and tagged, you have that audit trail now, which was a huge problem to orgs of like, where is all the bad information? Now we know, hey, there's 4 video scripts in Colossian that reference this wrong information. Go click the button to regenerate those with the newest information that's there. So when you start to create this way, you build those audit trails so you know all the way through which pieces of content have which information in it. So it makes updating and keeping that information much more easy.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, I just want to remind everyone joining us today that you can also follow us on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out with any more questions. If you would like to work with us to R&D and really kind of explore these technologies and workflows that Jeff mentioned, we're happy to support you. Yeah, this has been a great demo. Thank you so much, Jeff, for joining us. Thank you so much, Dominic, for joining us. And any last words for our community?
That was fun. Go ahead, Dominic.
I believe from our end, it's just important to highlight that the session is recorded and you will be able to see it, because we appreciate that it might have been a bit sort of a complex user journey, but believe us, like it's quite simple to create, like use both systems, I would say, and you can show it to your team eventually. And I believe, Jeff, like we are looking forward to hearing further feedback, right? Like ideas, inspiration, and use cases, how we can take it to a whole new level. At least that's definitely my interest, and how we can create an even more complete experience here.
Absolutely. We'll learn from everyone. I appreciate the time. That was fun and fast. We should do more of these for sure. It's going to be exciting to see how people start to use these things together. And thank you. I'll say thank you to the technology teams that made this work and let me do a live demo, and it worked. Like, we got to feel good about that, Dominic.
Yes, exactly. So I will send regards to them as well on our end, and thanks for your team as well, Jeff. Appreciate it. And everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. See you again soon.